Zainab. Before it was like, okay, this is a different, you know what I'm saying? This is like the radio interview, like...
It's me in my everyday life. I'm just gonna brush my teeth, put on chapstick, and put on sunglasses.
Okay,
you know.
Mm-hmm.
And but I every time two things when I am watching interviews, I'm always kind of skeptical when people don't like to show their eyes. Like I love Sierra, my goodies.
Mm-hmm. I know who Sierra is. Thanks for specifying. Yeah.
I love Sierra, but I recently watched her speak at like a voting event, and she had on her sunglasses, and I didn't feel connected at all. And the whole time, but I could tell she had like her spirits were high, and she got like a nice, fun personality. And I was just like, dang, I wonder if she knew like really like the I don't know, the windows to the soul is really the eyes.
That's true.
So
was it outdoors?
It was, and the sun hadn't gone down yet, but it wasn't that. It wasn't like blaring sun.
I feel like
it was a tinted event.
Since I've moved out here, and started wearing shades. Now, when I don't have my shades, my eyes are like, "What are we doing?" Yeah, we need them on right now.
When I first moved here, after a few months, I went to the optometrist and I complained about having blurry vision. And I was like one of those prideful people, like I got 20/20. I could see.
Me too.
Yeah. And then when I went to the optometrist, he said, "Are you from here?" I said, "No, I just moved here from New York." He said, "Did you buy your car here?" And I said, "No, I drove my car from New York." He said, "Okay, so I need you to wear sunglasses every day." He said, "That's why your vision is getting blurry at night." He said, people don't realize it and don't talk about how strong the sun is in Los Angeles, California, in Southern California.
Yeah.
And also at the time, it was like, which this is like the right before, like 2009-ish, and he was like, a lot of cars manufactured here, the windows that have a slight tint, where cars that are for other places, they don't have that same amount of tint. I don't know if that's still true or whatever, but ever since, I was not a sunglass wearer.
Right.
Until I moved to California, and now I wear them all the time. And sometimes I put them on in other states and places, and it doesn't feel right.
Got you.
Even at the top of even like early in the morning. I'm just like, in Minnesota, they be like, why?
Right. No, I in Atlanta, I was a sunglass at the club. But
that's exactly what I was trying to avoid.
That was it. I was exclusively sunglasses on. I've already been smoking.
Yeah. And that's I always feel like when people are engaging in conversation with sunglasses on, and the conversation is more than like 3 or 5 minutes, then you're hiding something. Whether that be I'm high, or my spirit ain't right. Or whatever. I got pink eye. Like, I don't know.
Got you. Yeah, that's true. I thought that might be respectful if you got pink eye. It might contain it a little bit.
No, you should be in the house.
Like wearing a mask.
No, the pink eye don't work like that.
Zainab, you don't drink or smoke, right?
I do not drink alcohol, nor do I smoke any sort of... I don't smoke at all. Yeah. I don't even have incense burning in my house.
Okay. Do you feel like you miss anything? Do you see all the commercials, the hoopla, all the stuff? Are you ever curious?
Never. I've had both before.
Okay.
I'm not someone who's like I'm not a virgin.
Okay.
In that regard, or any regard. No.
All right. I wasn't gonna ask,
but but it's totally fine. I thought you was gonna come with how many did you fuck specifically? Can we curse on here?
You can. I normally don't.
Okay,
Sometimes I do when like quoting something or something. Like I'm not perfect, but I don't.
Do you curse in your stand up?
Rarely.
Okay.
Rarely, and it's only been recent. Like my first album's clean. My second album has one track that's explicit. But I said penis.
I'm typically like that on stage too, unless the vulgarity is what makes the point.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna say vagina if I'm talking about the female anatomy.
Yeah.
But unless saying the P word is what really makes not the joke funny, but really drives the point of what I'm trying to say home.
Right.
Then I'll do that. So I completely get it, and I'll take your lead. You're the host. I retract that. FUCK.
You could say whatever you want to, though. These people out here, they're filthy. They'll listen to whatever.
Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you just right now, at this current state of my life, I don't quite trust the people. So. Again,
real. We don't have to get political, but you know.
But the people I do not trust.
500,000 voted for RFK Jr. He already dropped out. Y'all don't even know y'all boy. Y'all don't even know who y'all rocking with.
Yo. But I've had alcohol before. My first drink. I had my first drink. It was a Moscato d'Asti.
Okay.
That was when I was 27 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, and
like the end of the Moscato era. Like Moscato the mystique was gone.
Yes.
There were jokes about it already.
Yes. and I've smoked marijuana once in high school. I tried it.
This sounds like someone who's smoked once. I smoked marijuana once in high school. That's how it would be described.
Once in high school. I have had edibles. So marijuana in some form of an edible, like a piece of candy or a brownie or something, I believe 3 times in my life.
Okay. All on purpose?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, definitely. Yes. Yeah.
Accidents happen, brownies left around. That looks good.
It was the brownie part that I was thinking about. I can't, the 2 times in New York City that I've had, one I did Madison Square Garden. I opened up for Russell Peters.
Okay.
Kind of like I was not like maybe 5 years in or something like that. And when I got off stage, I could not calm myself down.
Gotcha.
It's like, I think I did like 7 minutes.
Yeah.
And I could have did 30.
Okay.
And so I still had that energy of time left, and I could not. I'm pretty good at like mechanisms to, put my body in its natural, in a relaxed state, but I couldn't. And so my friend and I went and got an edible, and that chilled me out.
Got you.
But
Madison Square Garden, were you in the theater or were you in the
No.
garden?
The garden, like 13,000 people or something.
What was your timing like? Like, how did you, I imagine it takes a while for your joke to get around, but also you can't wait on it to receive the laughter. How did you prepare for that?
I don't know if I did, and I don't know if there's any preparation for that except maybe doing larger and larger crowds until you build up to that. But I do think that like the people who are in like the first 10 rows, like the floor seats, maybe even the first 15, they're having a very different experience than the people that are,
right,
100 rows back and then up or whatever. But yeah, it's like you do your first joke and you realize you got to wait.
Right.
Yeah, you realize like right when you want to talk and that laughter is still traveling to you. Like it's still it's like a wave. What do they call it at a sporting event when people do the wave?
Yeah,
that's wave. Exactly that's exactly what's happening. And then you just realize it. Like, and your mind, it's like you go ready to talk and you realize like, oh wait, they still experiencing what I said.
Right. But also you can't come out of it and be like, all right, I'm waiting. Like you like, facially you got to be like, I'm in it.
Yeah, you got to,
whatever statement I'm making, I'm still in that mode.
Yeah. And you have to also understand that like you're also on like a global, a big screen, and so you basically on a really big camera for the entire time. So,
right.
But it was, which is why I felt like I could have did a half hour, because even I had a heckler and everything. And I mean, I nipped it in the bud quick. Yeah, and not a heckler like, I don't know if at that time, I don't know if Russell Peters had women on his show regularly at that capacity. I'm not sure.
Got you.
But I just think that the heckler was more like, not like negatively, I want you to get out of here, or I think I'm funnier than you, but really wanted to engage with me. Do you get what I'm saying? And they pay however much they paid for them front seats, and so they was trying to make the show about them. And Russell Peters' show has a lot of crowd work.
Okay.
So
they
there,
yeah,
and I had to. I got 7 minutes. You gotta stop. But yeah, and it's like a roller coaster in my opinion. You know how the first time you go on like a new exciting roller coaster, there's so much fear, but then you want to do it again after you realize like, oh, I didn't die. Right. That felt good. That was exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna go back up. You go on the roller coaster. You go on it right again because it's like that felt good. I got to do that. Now I got to really feel it. That's how I felt at the garden.
Oh, that's dope. Yeah. Episode 112 of the Inconsistent Podcast with Rob Haze. We got Zainab Johnson in the building from Harlem.
It's the. This feel a little bit weird. I'm gonna be honest with you, Rob.
Why? This came on the radio. This was a radio single. I can't play Peaches and Cream.
You can play whatever you want.
I can't. All right, my bad.
I just said it feel a little weird.
Yeah.
Because it's like I can't disassociate 112.
No, but like I played like a like Diddy wasn't in the song.
Which is why I said disassociate.
Yeah.
It's like,
all right. I should have played Def Jam 112. I should have played Hot and Wet. I wasn't even thinking about that. I just thought you were saying, hey, you're starting my morning with Peaches and Cream.
Oh, no. Start my morning with Peaches and Cream all day. I think, it's like music. Also, not that we got to go here either, but I mean, Diddy has not been convicted. I don't even want to get into it. I don't want to get into semantics.
All right. Yeah. We don't have to get into it. Yeah. We
I want to be out
here. I was ready for you to say no when I asked you to do the pod, just because you have a mystique.
Where's my camera?
You have a mystique. Is
it the middle camera?
And it doesn't feel contrived. It just feels like how you move. But I feel like like we don't see you just hanging outside the club, hanging in the green room. You come in, you do your set. Where's Zainab? She got off stage. She's gone. You're not going to just, yeah. So I was ready for you to be like, I'm not doing podcasts right now. Actually, when I got something to promote, maybe on the run, limited questions, we'll send you. I was ready. I was ready for that.
And I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Stay ready.
Yeah.
I think people find, I'm glad that if there is some mystique that it's not contrived.
Yeah. I don't feel like you're I don't feel like you in the car like, when I get off at the factory, then I'm gonna walk out the door. Like I don't think you think about it at all. I think you just bounce.
And that is very accurate. But I think people do find out that experience me from afar and have whatever assumptions that they have. Then when they kind of have a conversation with me or experience me in any sort of more intimate capacity, they are like, oh, you kind of, you just like, you chill.
You chill. You just, but I feel like some comics everybody has access to. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes being accessible can be exhausting. There's sometimes where it's like, man, if I walk to this spot, I know I'm gonna have to talk to 100 people. Yeah, I don't have 100 conversations in me. Yeah. And so like I respect. Yeah, it's respectable that you're able to like move in a way where it's like I really don't gotta deal with that aspect.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, I don't know. I guess I don't really think about it. I just, be just moving how I move.
It'd be corny if you did.
Yeah, so.
It'd be corny if you're like, yeah, that's right. Yeah, 2 combos and I'm out.
Yeah,
record.
Nah. and here's the thing. I actually, some of my favorite conversations have been with comedians because comedians have very interesting perspectives. Sometimes comedians, for the most part, are funny. And insightful. And so some of my favorite conversations have been with comedians, some who I engage with very often, and some I've only ever had one encounter in my life.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Zainab, I have been a fan from afar for a long time. I was obsessed with the Arsenio Hall return. I saw you on there, and I remember Arsenio asked you, how long have you been doing comedy? And you said 4 years. And me and everybody else who had been doing it like 4 years was looking like, yo, it's possible. That's our class right there. That's the first one. You know,
it's crazy. I don't even think I had been doing it 4 years.
Okay, I was wondering if it was cap and if it was up or down.
I think I think it was up because Arsenio was either in 2013 or 14, right? Correct. Yeah, and so I think I had upped it to make to seem more legitimate.
Right.
But what I love about that appearance is it was last minute. I got that date. Thank you. I got that date. They asked me to do it that day.
Really?
Like the booking agent, the casting agent, she had been to like shows around the city, so she seen me and she knew. She used to tell me like, "You'd be so good for Arsenio, like I cast for Arsenio, you'd be so good." So she told me that 2 or 3 times. But the day that I performed, that was supposed to be a what's Tyrese and them's group, TD3 or TGT?
TGT, yeah.
It was supposed to be all ladies night. If you look into the audience, that's why it's just an audience filled with like black women.
Okay.
The entire audience. It ain't one. I don't even know if we could find a nice flamboyant gay man in that. Or it was all, and it was supposed to be them, just a full show of TGT.
Right.
And something happened, as we now know, they be falling out.
We've seen Genuine blinking.
Yeah. And so they had to sort of recast that show that day. And she called me and was like, "Can you come do the show?" And at the time I had a shaved head. Right. I didn't know you about to do a TV appearance, you playing what you gonna wear, all of that, right?
Something in the back of the closet ready.
I had nothing.
Okay.
I threw on what I could come up with, and I lived in North Hollywood at the time. My barber was in North Hollywood. That was the only thing I cared about. I was like, "Can you please cut my hair really fast?" Okay. And my hair didn't require any, I'm not fading. I'm not, you get what I'm saying? I'm not getting no lineups, nothing. I could have really let the in-house barber do it at the show. You
don't want to leave it up to that though. And then you thinking about your cut and not your jokes,
Yeah. I was like, okay, if I could just I didn't even tell them yes. It was dependent on if I could get the haircut.
Okay.
And once the barber was like, "Yep," then I was like, "Okay." And then I told them, I was like, "Okay, what time do I need to be there?" And so I was so happy that it went well because my older sister was like, after you do your set, he's going to invite you to the couch. And I was like, they don't be doing that. Remember, like, we see all these, like legacy comedians talk about, when you did late night and they invited you to the couch, then that was the
life-changing moment.
Yeah. And I was like, they don't be doing that no more. And my sister's one of those people that think I could do. She'll be like, "You going out? I bet you find $1 million." Like, that's how she feels about me, right? And I'm always like, "I ain't about to find no $1 million. Shut up," And I was like, that's not how it's going to happen. And I remember when I went out to try and make myself comfortable, I was like, "Hey, Arsenio," and he looked at me like, "I don't know you," right? And then afterwards, right when I was done, I was ready to leave because I
got a feeling a whole TGT set.
Yeah. So I was like, once he said, it's like, I'm going to greet you with all my enthusiasm and my optimism. And if you shut it down, I kind of find the awkwardness funny, but I read it in real time. So there's so many times in my life where I'll be like, "Hey, oh, okay." You know what I'm saying? Like, I react in real time. And I did that on the Arsenio show. I was like, "Oh, okay, well, let me do the set. Let me connect with you women," And it incredibly well.
Yeah.
You know? And so I felt like when I said I'm Zainab or whatever, I was like, that was great. And then I was ready to walk myself out as I, am seen doing. And then Arsenio says, wait a second. Come over here, Zainab.
Right.
And yeah. And then they actually called me in after that set and was like, would you be willing to write for the show? And I was like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And then it got canceled, unfortunately. I'm so sorry, Arsenio.
But still it was a good look.
Yeah,
a lot of us black comics was like, we was happy that Arsenio came back. We was trying to get in that thing,
Ah, okay.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Always nice to have platforms and venues that are interested in showcasing
Right.
us. Yeah.
But I mean, Zainab, you've done a lot. You've done comedy all over television. You have a special on Amazon.
Yes. Hijabs off. Yes.
You also on the show Upload.
Yep. On Amazon Prime as well.
Big billboard was at LAX.
Yep.
I would see you all the time. Be like, I'm about to see my family. Let me see Zainab first. I'm about to do this comedy club, but first I'm gonna see Zainab at LAX.
A lot of people was hitting me like, yeah, because I forget what season that was. We had all the biggest billboard, like whatever Amazon's like, marquee billboards. We had them. That was really nice. The Airhorns are.
It's a bit much. You don't like it?
No. I love it.
Okay. The most of the fans complain about it.
Oh,
I'm the one keeping it going. I don't know. There might be some people that like it, but they're very silent. The people that don't like it, loud.
I feel like it's a character on your. You know what I'm saying?
It is. You're not gonna speed me up.
Yeah.
But it's like, all right, let's fill this with something.
Yeah. It's funny. I don't feel any way about it.
Okay.
I've just acknowledged it.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Zainab, what's your favorite color sky?
My favorite color sky?
Mm-hmm.
This is like, I think if I had to describe like your comedy,
yeah,
that question would be like,
heck yeah.
Yeah, I think I would be able to pull that out on a game show. Like, who said this? Rob Haze.
Okay.
My favorite color sky, I like when the sun is rising.
Okay.
So whatever color that is, it's not quite blue. Whatever color that is, I think I like when the sun is crossing the horizon.
Got you.
Preferably when it's rising, but I do also find it quite beautiful when it's setting as well.
Okay. Sun rising, is this an East Coast thing or does it matter where you are?
No, it doesn't matter where I am in the world. I've watched the sun rise from so many different places in the world.
Talk your talk. Some of y'all be asleep. Some of y'all travel and go to sleep. Y'all miss it.
No, it's never not been beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
At any part of the world, when I've watched the sunrise, it's never not been beautiful.
Okay, you're from Harlem, New York.
Yeah.
Did you start comedy in New York?
I started comedy in Los Angeles.
You started comedy in Los Angeles.
I already lived here when I started stand up.
A hard place to start.
Yeah, a hard place to start, a hard place to continue.
Right. I don't know what made you like get into. Did you move to LA and you were like, I'm gonna start comedy? Or
No, absolutely. I think I'm from New York, so and I knew a lot of like major players on the New York comedy scene. You know, like, and so if I had any inclination that I was gonna be a stand up comedian, I would have stayed in New York.
Right.
But yeah, me doing stand up is as much as like it's a surprise to me. I think it was more of a surprise. I think it was more of a surprise to me than anybody else in my life, actually.
Okay, so other people were like, you were like a comedian, or you would have them rolling, and they were like, you need to do something with that. Like,
I don't remember stories like that. Like people slide in my DMs a lot now. Like, you was always so funny, and I'm like, that's crazy. I just don't remember being a person like, Zainab, say that funny thing you said. You know what I'm saying? I just don't remember that experience. But I know once I started, everybody was my very close friend at the time. As soon as I finished that first open mic, and I was like, people laugh. She was like, girl, shut up. I've been telling you funny. And I was like, oh, Okay. And a lot of different people in my life was like, one of my very, very close friends, he was like, yeah, he was like, you ever remember me telling you should do stand up? I said, no, I have no recollection of that.
Okay.
He was like, because you always had like a very specific take on things. He said your stories were always so funny. Like you always thought like really deeply about things and will always come up with things that were different than like what like what the majority was saying. Like, and you were able to like put it together in like a funny way. You would comment on other people's jokes and you would say like funnier stuff. And I was like, I must have just been like existing and kind of unaware of myself.
Okay.
Now I'm much more aware of myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the opposite for me. People are like, man, I never would have thought. You don't seem like no comedian, but when you get up there, man, hey, man, I didn't see it at first, but yeah.
You seem like a comedian to me.
Really?
And not that you're the same comedian as like Tony Roberts, right? Like Tony Roberts walk in the room, it's joke nonstop. Some people that have that energy that they are always on. If they in front of even one audience person, they are always on and undeniably funny, right? But as I have journeyed through stand-up, the more and more comedians I encounter and I see them on stage and off stage, you have the temperament of a comedian. Okay. Which is sort of low key, kind of awkward.
Hey, you spitting facts. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like sort of left, and I don't mean that in a political way, but like the perspective is always like, oh, all right, I ain't think, okay, I ain't know you was going to go there with that. Or do you get what I'm saying? Like it's all, it's, yeah. So me, I think as an outsider, I would not have been like, yeah, Rob is a comedian. But as an insider, it's like, nah, it's there. The signs are there.
Right. Right. So you started out here and then what?
Oh, I thought you was gonna hit the air horns. Cause it kind of feel unfair. It feel like I should have something like over here.
Yeah, that's what I should do. I should give a soundboard to the guests.
Yeah, it feels kind of like you get to dictate when something is hot.
Right. But it's not even that. It don't even mean hot. It just means just like, we got other sounds too. We got, like just random, we got all kind of stuff. Were you like ever a class clown in high school or anything? Were you like ever like, oh man, when Zainab get in the class, he gets crazy?
Not that I can remember.
Okay.
I think I was, depending on like what class I was in, but I don't know. You have to ask somebody else, but I don't remember. I hear stories about class clowns and like this silly, like when I think of a class clown, I think of somebody like DC Young Fly.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And that is, we are on the opposite ends of, while I think that that's great, we are on the opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of personality from what I see publicly. I have no idea what he's like, you know what I'm saying? But so no, I have never, I actually remember being the classmate that's like for the people, if that makes sense.
Okay. All right.
Like,
stop picking on Rob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I that's what I was aware of, like fairness.
Yeah.
What's fair? Are we being fair?
And if it meant getting a good one in on somebody, it was to keep it fair.
Yeah. Like gotcha. I may be like an observer, a spectator, and it's like this cool. I could laugh, maybe, but only if it's fair.
I was never the class clown, but I would get a big laugh every now and then.
Okay.
And I would also sit behind the class clown and like I would say something soft and then they would say it louder. I was always a writer. I was always like, yeah, like, all right, boom.
Yeah.
That was me. but I'm not gonna take any credit. But yeah, when they retweet me, it goes up.
I'm so aware of my ability to be funny now.
Mm-hmm.
And if I was ever funny in the past, like as I was coming up, I was completely unaware of it. Completely unaware of it, and could not replicate it.
Yeah.
If I tried. But now I'm acutely aware of how to be funny and when I am being funny. Even if initially I wasn't trying to be, I could recognize it as soon as it happened. Like, oh shoot, that's funny as shit.
I'm going in right now.
Yeah.
Did you play any sports?
Yeah, I used to play basketball.
Yeah, what position?
I played a few different positions. I think it just depended on like the year, but like I started playing basketball when I was in middle school, and I was one of the taller girls in middle school, and so I played probably like the forward position.
Okay.
And then once I got to high school, there were girls much taller than me.
Gotcha.
And so I kind of moved to like the small forward shooting guard position.
Did you wear sweats when you played?
What you mean?
Well, there was a girl in my middle school who was Muslim, played on the basketball team, and she wore like sweats under her uniform.
There was a girl actually who I actually know her. She went to the masjid around my house, but we didn't play at the same high school. And when she started playing, I actually used let me finish my sentence. Sorry. She she wore sweatpants or leggings. Mm-hmm. She wore some sort of attire that covered her, from the wrist and down to the ankle. She did, and she wore her hijab as she was playing. And I actually didn't appreciate it.
Yeah.
Because I used basketball as a way to get out of covering up.
Right.
And that was my plea to my parents. I can't play.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta wear these uniforms. I gotta wear these shorts. I gotta wear these tank tops. Like I gotta show my hair. Like I have to.
Right.
And so this is like, you gotta just relax. You gotta chill. And my mom used to come to all my dad would come sometimes if he wasn't working, but my mom would come to most of my games. Mm-hmm. With a kid, breastfeeding a kid, you know what I'm saying? With my special needs sister, like all the times.
Yeah.
Sitting in, and then one day we playing against the girls team, and here she come with the leggings and the hijab, and I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Right. You're not helping my argument.
Right. It was a different era because, like, now they got all this, like, pro combat, like, stuff that's designed for you to sweat in and stuff. But back then, it was, like, no.
It was commitment.
Walmart sweats underneath the uniform. Yeah. No, like, the only time we saw her uncover was, like, the 8th grade prom. And it was like, everybody was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, it was like a big thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the first time I took off my hijab. I remember the first time I did it. And first of all, when I was in like middle school, this boy used to pull every picture day, a class picture. He would, right when a photographer was like, say cheese, or say whatever, whatever they would prompt us for the whole class to like look like we're smiling, he would pull off my hijab.
Get out of here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God!
I know. I wish I wish that I was in middle school like now, because it would be like a hate crime that would go viral.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But no, every
that's nuts.
Yeah, and you want to know what's more nuts? Then when we got to high school, he got cute, and so I can't even dislike you no more. You know, it's like,
man. He must have been really cute.
He was good looking.
Yeah. To pull a hate crime off and be like, yo, but, that was the past. He was young.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like, he got so cute.
He probably saw your specials like, see? I've been on hijabs off. I've been pulling them off.
But I remember people, I don't even think people were like, and I'm not sure if this is because I'm a black girl as well, but I don't even think people were like, oh shoot, what does this mean? People was really like, oh shoot, she got hair.
Yeah.
Like, I think that was the mystery, like what's under there, not so much like what does this stand for,
right?
You know what I'm saying? But like, what's under there?
But what's under there, what's the texture? What is, what I'm saying? Like,
and then when I didn't wear hijab for the first time, and this was just because, I don't know, it was like dress up day or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I think my older sister helped me sneak and like, participate. And everybody was just like,
Yeah.
Yo, you look like a better version of us. And I had to put it back on. I got to experience the light for one day, and then I had to go back.
Yeah.
For a little while, yeah. Then I really got serious with basketball, and I was like, you don't understand.
Right.
You know?
Yo, I don't see nobody with sweats on ESPN. I'm trying to get on ESPN.
I'm trying to get a scholarship. Do you want me to go to college? Of course, strict parents want you to go to college, and strict poor parents want somebody else to pay for it.
Facts.
So,
I think everybody wants somebody to pay for it.
I think some people just got money and they don't even really care.
But I still think, LeBron and Savannah was like, well, Bronny got a scholarship. That ain't bad. We ain't got to pay for it. They got billions. And they like, hey, hey, you got full ride to USC. You better go there.
I doubt it.
They said LeBron got Spotify with ads. They say he is like tight.
Which is exactly why if Bronny I'm sure that they wasn't like, and you got a scholarship. I'm sure they weren't.
I think they were.
A scholarship mess up their tax write-off.
Okay. All right.
Nah.
Well,
sometimes you got to.
Yeah.
Nah. But like the public narrative is like, you're a viable student. You're good enough at basketball that you were deserved. It's like a validation,
right?
Or a confirmation, rather. Mm-hmm, you know what I'm saying? And we don't really have to lean into the conversation of like, we have so much money.
Right.
But really, when people have so much money, like, you be needing to spend it, because then the feds will be like, since you're not spending that.
Right. Go ahead. We got some stuff.
I really want Airhorns.
Okay, my bad. Yo. All right. Airhorns for the IRS. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to y'all. If y'all listening, man, do what y'all do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get any letters where you did you play college ball?
Very briefly, but I did not get any. Well, I was hit by, my basketball career stopped my senior year of high school because I got hit by a truck.
Okay.
Burn, burn, burn.
Wait, no. We not don't do that for getting hit by a truck.
Bro, that's maybe that's what he did before he hit me. He hit the horn. Burn, burn, burn.
Well, then that might be your fault. If he hit the horn and you still got hit, then maybe. What happened? How did you get hit by a truck?
It was not as funny. It was a drunk driver.
Oh no!
Yeah, drunk driver in your state.
Okay.
Yeah, in the state of Georgia, in the city of Atlanta.
Okay.
Yeah.
My state, I don't always rep to the fullest.
Yeah, Georgia.
But then when you specify to Atlanta, now that is me. Yeah,
Georgia?
Yeah. No, Georgia and Atlanta, very different. Very different.
Yes, in some ways.
John King has zoomed in on and showed us, and where I'm from is a totally different color than the rest of Georgia.
Yeah.
I'm from the Smurf part.
Okay, but it was very. It was a few blocks from Lenox Mall. So very, very Atlanta.
Okay.
Yeah.
People do get drunk over there for sure.
So
yeah.
Drunk driver.
Dang. They went off road or you were in the street?
I was pushing the back of a car.
You were pushing up, somebody ran out of gas?
I actually don't even know, because we had just left it. We just come from Lenox Mall. That's how I know that we were in close proximity to it. We stopped at a gas station. Yeah, Buckhead. Mm-hmm. We stopped. The person that I was with lived in Buckhead at the time.
Okay.
And the what am I trying to say? Oh, we stopped at a gas station, and I believe that they filled up.
Mm-hmm.
And but I'm like a New York City kid. And so I'm 17 at the time. I never drove a car. I don't know how to drive a car. And so I'm also not really paying attention to how cars work, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So it's like, I'm saying that I do believe, and I don't say that to be facetious or to, you know what I'm saying, undercut the driver, but I do believe that they filled up the car with gas. And so I don't know why the car shut off. And I think that if I was more like if I had the experience that I have now being a driver for the past whatever 15 years, then you know what I'm saying? Like I pay it, but
right.
so we got
you cranked it. You didn't look at the gauge.
I'm just sitting it. Yeah, I'm not even looking at what they're doing. I know they got out, paid for gas, took the gas, all of that stuff. I know that happened, but I also know that the car shut down, completely shut down.
Okay.
Maybe half a block from the gas station. And so that doesn't really sound like a gas issue to me.
Could have been an alternator.
Yeah, or if they maybe put diesel in the car.
Maybe.
But I don't know if it even happens that fast.
You might get like a mile or two, maybe.
Yeah, we weren't a mile from the. We were.
Yeah, it depends on how empty you were before the diesel kicks in. I accidentally did that.
A friend of mine later in life, like way after this accident, did that, and I was like, "Oh no, is that what happened the night of the truck?" You know what I'm saying? I still don't know, but what I do know is, me and a friend, there's 3 of us in the car. The driver steered the car because we looking at the gas station we just came from, so it's just like,
oh, you weren't driving?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm like a 17-year-old kid from New York. I'm just along for the ride.
Got you.
No responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
You know. And she was like, "Oh, can y'all get out and push the back?" You know, you put it in. Now I know.
In neutral.
Even at the time, I didn't really even know what she was talking about when she was like, "Put it in neutral," and I mean, she gonna put it in neutral and push the back. I was just thinking like, "What? Well, this?"
Right.
And I had on new sneakers at the time.
I was gonna ask you about your footwear.
Yeah.
When it was appropriate, I was gonna ask.
Yeah, I had on some new sneakers, some brand new foam posits.
Dang.
I had on brand new foam posits. And
they had the clear bottom?
I can't remember. But I had on brand new foam posits.
Yeah.
And when she was like, "Can y'all get out and push?" all I was thinking was, I had on brand new foam posits.
Right. Now I got to lace them up for real.
I just
now
don't even. I don't even want the bottom to be scut. Like,
right.
You know,
right.
The last thing I ever would have thought is that I was gonna wake up in an ambulance and then wake up in a hospital. You know what I'm saying? Like,
did the foam stay on your feet when you got hit by the truck? Okay.
No. Burn.
Oh, we don't have to do. I need a sad one. I need like a
burn.
Oh man.
Yeah, the drunk driver. What I was told is the drunk driver driving his truck rammed into us, pinned me and another girl in between the car and the truck.
Dang.
Then he backed up and he drove off. So it was a hit and run.
Oh my God. A hit and run of actual people is terrible.
It is.
Yeah. And so, but you don't have, this is just described to you. You don't have any memory of this.
No, my only memories are, I have memories of it because I have scars all over my body.
Yeah.
So I am reminded of it every day.
Okay.
But, so I remember pushing the back of the car. Mm-hmm. I remember giggling with the girl.
Right.
You know,
right.
like.
Yeah.
And then I remember waking up in the ambulance.
Dang.
And them asking me like how many fingers they had, you know, like the stuff that they ask you. And I remember seeing a lot of blood because they were cutting my clothes off. And then I woke up in a hospital in like ICU. And I remember
you were in the ICU?
For a long time, yeah. Oh, it was bad.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was bad.
What happened to the other girl?
She is an amputee now.
No.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Not the driver, but the other girl pushing is an amputee now.
Dang.
Yeah.
Man, that's sad.
Mm-hmm. Georgia. Georgia.
Dang, yo.
What?
I had no clue. I had no clue. I just thought it was gonna be, hey, I didn't make the team. I didn't know it was gonna be like, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that would have ever been the story.
Yeah.
Because the story changed.
Yeah.
You know.
So you were Ball is Life.
Ball is Life. Yeah.
Yeah. You wearing foams to Linux.
Yeah.
That's a hooper.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Not wedges, not heels.
No.
Give me my new foams.
Yes.
We going to the ball.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Do you watch the W? Are you a fan of what's going on with women's basketball right now?
Absolutely. I used to have season tickets, I think, to like the Liberty.
Okay.
I haven't like consistently watched it like in the most recent past, but I'm very aware because it has gained a place in like a real place in the zeitgeist.
Yeah,
You know?
there are, and it's received everything that comes with that.
Exactly.
The crazy fans, the people that
Yes.
spin narratives all day long,
Yes.
the hot takes, there's all of that. But then also there's a lot of attention and a lot of, girls get a chance to see like, hey, there is a high ceiling with basketball.
Yeah, my friend used to play she was actually the point guard at one time for the LA Sparks.
Okay.
And so there was a short amount of time that I would attend Sparks games.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I think that it's wonderful, and I hope that it just continues to climb. And I recently, like, Angel Reese is probably one of the most popular,
for sure,
youngest players out, right? And she, I don't know, kind of went viral, and she was talking about that like her WNBA salary doesn't pay for certain things in her life.
They like taking what she says out of context.
Yeah, like clearly, but even out of context, it's still, I think the point was lost, which is I should be able to pay my rent.
Right.
With my, I'm on the tip of everybody's tongue. When you say WNBA today, you saying Angel Reese for the most part. I should be able to pay my rent with just this.
Yeah.
And there are, especially when, we are seeing 3-year, $250 million contracts on the other side. You know what I'm saying?
For guys that don't be on highlights like that.
Exactly. So, yeah. So I think sometimes the point is, but, it's, yeah, I think it's wonderful, though. And I think it's wonderful that there's this new look to the WNBA. I think for a long time, people thought WNBA players looked masculine. They had to be gay. And, they could still be gay, but like more so on a masculine scale. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Except for Monica.
There were a few exceptions, very few exceptions.
Yeah, she married Quincy McCall. They went to USC together. They went to Crenshaw High School together.
Rob Haze, everybody.
He went to the Lakers. Then she went to the
characters.
She only would have got there, but Tanya Randall got pregnant and she couldn't come. So
I love that movie.
Yeah.
Loving Basketball?
I feel like people are starting to turn on Loving Basketball.
I love Loving Basketball.
But Quincy is so terrible.
He is. And I think that's an accurate reflection.
Okay.
An accurate portrayal, especially of that time. But I mean, it's still very much current today. And here's the thing. Quincy was terrible. Why? Because his father was terrible.
Yes, that's very true. That's very true. Zeke McCall.
Yeah.
Great.
And there's an undercurrent. There is a very strong undercurrent of misogyny and sexism woven in the fabric of our society.
No, that's real. That's real.
So he was just a product.
Yeah. But I think people's problem is that's the depiction that's met with this basketball movie as opposed to like a more cute story.
I love it. I love that. I love Loving Basketball. I think it is a perfect film, and I think that I think it's a perfect film.
Okay,
I think it's perfect. I think I think it was perfectly written, perfectly acted in. I don't even mind if Sanaa Lathan couldn't really play basketball like that. I think that Loving Basketball. I said it on record. I think that Loving Basketball was a perfect movie.
Okay, I'm not arguing that. I think most people who are turning had like rose-colored glasses or was watching it from the guise of a younger person that didn't have experience and stuff. But I do feel like the Quincy McCall character is fleshed out, and the Zeke McCall character, and like all of you can't say that his actions aren't a reflection of what you see on screen.
And he didn't even know that.
Right.
He didn't even know that. The moment he saw the pictures that his mom showed him from the private investigator, that's what opened up his world. He realized that his whole reality was false.
Right.
He thought, like, yeah, this is my father's a real dude. My father used to be a play. That's why when they was young, and she was like, your father ain't even in a what she say? What did Monica say young when it was Kyla Pratt?
Maybe.
Yeah, but he
went
can't.
In the All-Star game.
Yeah, he was something, and he was like, "Well, you talk about my father." She told him the truth early that he didn't want to accept,
and
which is why she got the scar on her face.
Yo, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was a long road for him. They were traveling on two different roads, but still destined to be together. But they had to journey the roads that they was on, which is she had to decide what you want. She wanted basketball. Well, then go fuck Dick Vitale.
Right. Dang.
And he was on this journey of like, who am I? Am I my father? And what does that mean? What type of man am I?
Right.
And it might suck that that his dreams had to die for hers to live. But it don't suck if you look at it like, well, whose dreams were those anyway? Perfect movie.
Okay.
On top of the fact that when she said, I play you for your heart, and he didn't let her win.
Yeah.
But then was like,
on a bad knee out there dunking.
Yes, like I'm not gonna let you. I ain't gonna let you win because I think that would have messed up the movie if she won.
Right.
If she won at that moment, he was a stronger opponent than she was.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He was, and she was phenomenal against the people but he was a stronger opponent. And to make it for us to see him lose would mean that he didn't choose her. So he had to beat her ass. And then, despite that, I choose you. I don't give a fuck. I don't care who win the game. I love you. I've been loving you. I'm mad. I've been mad at you since I met you that one day when we was like 8.
Right.
And you told me my father ain't shit. You told me early, and I've been mad at you ever since. I ain't even know it. And now I know he ain't shit. And I ain't even know how to come back and love you, but I'm here. Will you take me? And she was, because girls is different from boys. But perfect movie. I stand on that.
No,
Soundtrack, perfect soundtrack. I stand on it.
Perfect soundtrack for sure. No one is arguing.
Perfect actors. From everybody, from the small roles to Tyra Banks to Gabrielle Union to Boris Kojo to the lead, Sanaa Lathan and Omar Epps. Perfect.
Come on.
Perfect.
Come on.
Perfect.
All right. I've heard a lot of Love and Basketball slander, but I do think it is people realizing they're thinking that this is like a love story. They're looking for like romance, and they're not.
It is a love story, but it's love and basketball.
It's love and basketball.
It's love and basketball.
Yeah. And there's some turnovers.
And she fell in love with it, and he fell out of love with it. But we watching them. It is a love story, but why love gotta look one? Why I gotta be on the nose? That's what be concerning me about people. The inability to go beyond the shallow.
Well,
that concerns me about the population. It really does.
No, I am with you. I am with you on that accord. And also it does feel disheartening when people are like, well, you're the only one that sees it like that. And it's like, well, I don't know. Why did they make it? Why did they put this stuff here? The clues are here.
Also, familiarity breeds contempt. So if you watch, I'm an avid fan of The Office.
Okay.
Everybody like Jim on The Office.
Which one? The
right?
British Office?
No,
or
the American Office.
Okay.
210 episodes, whatever it was on NBC.
Okay.
Created by Greg Daniels.
Okay.
I actually don't. I think I'm one of those people. You know, when you hear people talk about The Office, they be like, "I love the British version," and then I'm the opposite.
Okay.
British version is not for me on record. It's not for me at all. At all.
Stand on it.
Yeah, but the American, the U.S. original Office, everybody liked Jim.
I think Jim is us. I think Jim is the people, or Jim is supposed to be us.
But what I realized is I've watched that show in its totality too many times to count.
Okay.
And I had reached the point where I may have watched it enough times where I started looking at Jim as the bad guy.
Jim is a bit of a villain.
I said every time he did something to Dwight, I'm like, yeah. So that's why when I get to the episode where Dwight is terrorizing him with the snowman, I'm like, and now you crying? Now you scared?
Right.
You've been pranking him for 8 years.
Right. You not about that paper. We sell paper.
Yeah, why you scared?
Scheme to sell some paper.
But it took
Why
me.
you putting my phone in Jell-O?
Exactly.
I'm trying to sell paper.
Or it rose up in me at some point, like, I don't really like people that could dish it but can't take it. And that is a very overt telling of like, oh yeah, he could dish it.
Yeah.
And now but he can't take it.
Right.
And it took me so many rewatches to come to that opinion.
Yeah.
And I was having this conversation with some girls and they were still like, but Jim's the best. And I was making argument after, and they like, damn, like, and it just took me that amount of watches.
Right. Because he only shoot at Dwight. And you got a whole office, all y'all in there together. You and Pam got y'all little thing going on. You dirty macking while Pam's man is downstairs. Meanwhile, you don't mess with Creed. You know what I'm saying? You don't be pranking Creed. You leave Creed alone. You leave Stanley alone. You know what I'm saying? Like you know who to mess with, and you messing with Dwight, and then when Ed Helms come through, then you want to put his phone in the wall and stuff. Mm-hmm. But you know who to mess with. You don't shoot at everybody. Yeah,
even if he did shoot at everybody, then that one day when everybody's shooting at you, you gotta just take it.
You gotta take it. Right.
You can't be screaming like, this is enough. No, it's not enough.
I did not see you as a Dwight Schrute apologizer.
It's like I'm not, but that's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like, I mean, here's the thing. If we just looking at, personalities and archetypes, it's like Jim is as necessary as Dwight and vice versa, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes you watch things at different stages of your life, and they dictate that at that. I don't even really feel that way. I love how much Jim loved Pam. Yeah. I loved how committed he was to that. But whenever I felt like, Jim is the problem, whenever I was watching it at that time, I can imagine that I was probably a bit exhausted with bully behavior.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? And so if you showed any remnants of bully behavior, it's going to speak to me loudly.
Got you. Got you. What about when Jim came back from PA and he had Rashida Jones with him?
Yeah, I ain't had no problem with that.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes people I had a problem with it in a sense that like Jim knew he ain't like nobody but Pam.
Right.
And people be doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Not only do you know who you like, but you about to come back. But it's like human behavior, right? Like he was trying to get over Pam. Pam told him no. I understand that. She told him no because Pam was a punk. Right?
Yeah.
Pam was like scared.
Mm-hmm.
And Jim was like, he ain't over it, but just like when you trying to be over it, it's like, you know what I'm saying? What was her name? What was Rashida's name on The Office?
I don't remember.
Shucks, it's on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Because she was Italian. Capinelli. Whatever. It's like she a viable option. She attractive. She's smart. She capable. All of those things. So it's like, it ain't it's no brainer why he would be into her.
Yeah.
But he was just trying to get over it. And it's like, but y'all there. You right there. Just with the ability to keep falling for her. She going to keep being the same.
Yeah.
And although she a punk, you kind of like this she a punk.
And they all serial in the company daters, nobody's venturing out. They all, what did you think was going to happen?
But that's what I hear happens in the office. You know what I'm saying? So many people, find a person at work.
Right.
So, but yeah, another perfect show. Almost.
Okay. Yo, I'm not mad at these takes. One bit. Zainab, anything you want to tell the people? Anything you want to promote?
Yeah, they could check out my podcast. I have a podcast that I release every week on on YouTube. I will be getting Airhorns.
Okay. Come on with it.
It's called I'm Reasonable with Zainab Johnson, and new episodes are available on YouTube every Wednesday. They can, of course, go to Prime and check out Hijabs Off. I think that it is a fantastic special. I watched your special too. Congratulations.
Oh,
that was great.
You.
The whole I gotta not stare at your teeth because you did a whole bit about your teeth.
I did a whole bit about my teeth. Yeah.
And I told myself coming here, I said, don't be looking at Rob's teeth.
Well, I appreciate you watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because a lot
absolutely.
of people said they watch it and they be looking me dead in the eyes. I'm like, I don't know if they saw that. They didn't see the end.
I would never know.
I'm
looking at your mouth now. I see how as soon as I started looking, you closed your mouth.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
You let me know. You let me know that you was in there, and then it was like,
Yeah, I watched the whole thing. Congratulations. I thought it was very funny.
Thank you.
So yeah, check Rob's special out as well. Check my special out. Hijabs Off. Watch Upload. There's 3 seasons on Prime available for you to watch, and the 4th season will be out soon. Created and executively produced by Greg Daniels.
Okay.
So,
okay. I see what you did there.
But I'm be honest. There's no, this was my opinion before he hired me.
Okay. Okay.
And what else? And yeah, you could follow me on my social medias on Instagram, and on Instagram it is Zainab Johnson, and then on TikTok it's the Zainab Johnson, THE Zainab Johnson. And yeah, I'm coming to a lot of cities, and so I don't know when this will air, but just check out my website or like my social media, and you can come see me perform.
It should be out Saturday.
Okay.
It's inconsistent, so it might come out.
Which
anytime,
is
it should be out Saturday.
Which is totally fine. Which is why, regardless of when this comes out, y'all can check out my website, which is Zainab Johnson, and you'll have all the information for every live show that I'm doing. So yeah, check that out.
Thanks for listening to the Inconsistent Podcast with Rob Haze.
What is this program?